It really is humbling to be here tonight for an event that's focused on recognising those individuals and organisations that have embraced diversity and seek to promote the value of new migrants throughout the community. As the son of migrants, I know the value of building a connection with community. Growing up in the back of my parents' fish and chip shop in the multicultural suburb of Coburg in Melbourne, my connection to the community as a child was built around sport. And whether we were Greeks, Italians, Turks, Maltese or Australians, sport was something that brought kids in the neighbourhood together. My three brothers and I spent countless hours kicking a battered old football around our local Woolworths car park. I've got to say, it was brutal on your knees, but it didn't stop us and plenty of other kids in the neighbourhood from coming together with a common purpose. Sport, and in particular football, was a great leveller and helped us develop friendships and seek new opportunities. And sport was the catalyst for acceptance and gave me a true sense of community, a sense of belonging. And it also gave me the sort of opportunities my parents could only dream of when they left Cyprus in the hope of giving their children and their children's children a better life. My own upbringing also helped shape the values that I've carried with me right throughout my life, and now in my role as CEO of the AFL. And I'm particularly humbled because my father, who turns 84 years of age, is here tonight, and his certificate is out the front. It was very clear to me from an early stage that sport has the capacity to tear down barriers and engage every segment of the community. Someone once asked me how I would describe our game, and I always say that I like to think of our game, Australian football, as a great democratiser. It's a game for anyone and everyone, a game that's inclusive, accessible and affordable, and a game that does not discriminate. Footy and sport more broadly is a great meeting place. Every week it brings diverse groups of people together from across the community, people from a range of backgrounds with a common passion for the game. As far as Australian football is concerned, people don't come to our game because they want to impose their values on it. They come to our game because of its values. I'm regularly reminded of that each time we host certainly newly arrived migrants at AFL matches around the country. We often hear them remark of how they've never felt more connected to the community and Australian culture than when they've sat amongst the Sydney Swans faithful or the Port Adelaide diehards. And around the country there are countless new migrants picking up a football in the playground and immediately forging a bond with those around them. The fact that many of them don't speak a word of English doesn't matter. They're communicating in a language just as powerful as English or Mandarin or Arabic, the language of sport, and in many cases Australian football. And for a large number it is a connection that remains for life, a bond that provides opportunities previously unimagined. Those looking for evidence need only look as far as AFL Club North Melbourne and their young Sudanese-born player Majak Daw. After fleeing war-torn Sudan almost a decade ago, Majak and his 8 brothers and sisters eventually settled in Melbourne, where his first friendship was made over a share in football. When Majak enjoyed a spectacular AFL debut recently, there was a genuine sense of pride and achievement, not just throughout the AFL community, but in the Sudanese community as well. It is young men like this that bring more to the game than just their on-field talent. Men and women from every conceivable background that enrich the culture of our game. They're bringing their cultures into the AFL and helping us understand the similarities and differences. And as much as football is making a difference in their communities, these people are making a difference in ours. And while Majak may be the AFL's first Sudanese-born player, I guarantee you that he won't be the last. Now, some see the AFL as simply a sport and others see it simply a big business. The reality is that we are and need to be more than just a sporting competition or a business. We're also a not-for-profit, community and cultural organisation that must take a leadership role in the community. And we believe the success of Australian football is measured by our connection with the community. And if we are truly to be a responsible leader and grow our game, we need to constantly hold a mirror to ourselves and make sure we are reflecting the community around us. And that's why we've implemented a host of programs that directly relate to the wider issues facing the community. We've been intent on fostering a safe and welcoming game that affords everyone the same opportunities regardless of background. And we've been unwavering in our endeavours across issues such as racial and religious vilification, violence against women and multiculturalism. And this is why Australia Post have joined us in a partnership to establish a Multicultural Ambassadors Pathway program that sees AFL role models from countries including Nigeria, Fiji, Italy, Lebanon, Brazil and Egypt. We're proud of the insight and cultural guidance these players provide our industry. Quite simply, we would be poorer without their presence. Each year, the AFL celebrates one game, many cultures through Multicultural Round. And this is an opportunity for in excess of 20,000 people from migrant families to come together as one at an AFL game. It acknowledges the role of multicultural communities that have played in our game, and importantly, it encourages new communities to enjoy our game as supporters, players and administrators into the future. The same can be said for the Unity Cup, an event that brings a range of culturally and linguistically diverse communities through a mutual appreciation of Australian football. And we've witnessed some remarkable acts of inclusion and understanding through the Unity Cup. Last year's event comprised of teams from Melbourne's Muslim, Jewish and Indigenous communities, with one team made up of players from Muslim and Jewish backgrounds. And we're also proud of the fact that the outstanding athleticism and leadership of many Indigenous AFL players has helped foster a sense of pride amongst Australians about our nation's rich Indigenous heritage. And furthermore, we wholeheartedly support the goal of amending our Constitution to formally unite our Indigenous history with many chapters that have been written since. Sport has the extraordinary power to bring people together, regardless of their background, something we should never forget. And sport is also one of the most powerful tools we have for effecting cultural change. It has the very real ability to strengthen community ties and promote social inclusion, and it is a key driver of our continued prosperity as a nation. Thank you.